Hang on for this discussion. The discussion being, is now the time to buy into gold, or more specifically gold ETFs. I want to bring in Tom Lydon, editor of ETFtrends.com. Tom, good to see you. You heard Sharon talk about a nominal high of 1033 that was hit back in March 2008. Do you think we're going to get there again in the near future?
Well, I think the perfect storm for gold seems to be lining up, and Sharon hit on a lot of the key points. The demand is there. There's also pressure, as many don't believe this market's really going to continue to move on the equity side. They're using gold as a hedge. The supply is getting slimmer. So we've got this demand in emerging market countries where we have more and more of these citizens that are entering the middle class. They've got money to spend. They're spending it on gold. And now, for the first time in years, the average investor has the ability to enter the commodities market via ETFs. And they can do it in two ways, as Sharon said, both via spot price, and one of the biggest ETFs out there that's holding 650 tons of gold in storage, GLD, is available, or you can play the miners. And with the miners right now, it takes them about $350 to pull gold out of the ground. If it's selling for $1,000 an ounce, there's a lot of profit there.
Tom, let me just go back to your point about emerging markets, because I think that's an interesting one, but I want to separate it from everything else that's happening in the economy. In other words, if we see a real significant turn in the economy, and we've seen some evidence of that, of course, right now, even Bernanke coming out and saying that the recession has technically ended. So let's separate the emerging markets, and assuming they're doing well and more people are coming in and buying gold, just look at the overall world economy. If things start getting better, then why would gold continue moving higher?
Well, for a couple reasons. I mean, first of all, if we have more discretionary income, you're going to start to see more demand for things like jewelry. And people surely have cut back, but from a retail situation, that will increase tremendously. And you can't avoid what's going on in emerging markets. You have hundreds of millions of citizens that, after buying a cell phone, the first thing they might buy is gold jewelry.
Say, Tom, can I ask you? Oh, no, go ahead, Sharon.
I was going to say, right now we're looking at the level of gold prices being a bit of a deterrent for demand in some countries, particularly in India, and really the dollar playing more of a wonder if investors, particularly retail investors getting into the GLD, really understand the impact that the dollar is having on gold more so than any type of fundamentals.
An excellent point. Larry, go ahead.
No, you're right. Go ahead, Larry.
Tom, I just want to ask you, how much is the rise in gold tied to what I'm calling dollar chaos theory? That is to say that the dollar world reserve system may be going down. You heard World Bank President Bob Zoellick also challenge the dollar, which is odd from a former Treasury official. Let me just say, maybe it's not inflation. Maybe it's just fears that the dollar primacy and supremacy has gone down. Is that possible? Does that enter into your calculation?
Well, you know, absolutely. Again, the dollar slide, we don't know when this whole thing's going to end. So the hedge and the threat of inflation could be right around the corner. We don't have a sense right now when inflation's going to kick in, but I think many on the street are betting that it's going to happen, and a great way to hedge it's going to be through
Tom,
via metals.
you know, maybe I'll throw this question to both you and to Sharon, but I don't think I got a real clear answer from you at the beginning in terms of when could we potentially hit 1033, that nominal high that we saw last year again. You gave me the reasons why, but when?
Well, I think it's going to definitely happen between now and the end of the year.
Now and the end of the year.
For a few reasons. And again, we could see $1,100 by the end of the year.
Okay, and Sharon, real quick, what do you think?
If you continue to see the dollar fall to the lowest levels that we've seen in a year, you're going to continue to see gold prices rise along with the rest of the commodity complex. So just keep your eye on that dollar and the weakness there, and we're going to hit that level.
I call it dollar chaos theory. What happened to the dollar? I mean it. It might not even be inflation. But anyway, I don't want to get into that too much. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks.